Hey everybody, every one of those days where all the technology goes wrong on you. I had one of those days on Tuesdays when we were recording, when we were supposed to be recording, LOL, and I didn't hit the resume button to keep recording, LOL. So I did want to show you some of the slides that we had to share and make sure that everybody gets the link for those slides so that you can go through it on your own. But unfortunately, we don't have the detailed recording that we would normally have for you. I apologize. Next time, I'll make sure I hit the record button. We started out on Tuesday with a fun activity where we were pretending that COVID was over, and in true Chandler Gilbert fashion, we're having a big food celebration. We were having our participants be the party planners, and we said we're splitting you into 4 groups. We're splitting you into 1, beverages, 2, appetizers, 3, main course, and 4, desserts. You get the idea that if you've got a really big task, you can have your small groups, breakout rooms, breakout sessions, depending on what tool you're using. You can have them each take a bite-sized piece. In economics, we like to refer to it as division of labor and specialization, where you have smaller groups become really good at one piece instead of everybody trying to do everything. So we send people off for 5 minutes, and the slides look something like this. If you had your 4 groups, your group 1 beverage specialist, your group 2 appetizer specialist, and we had sent them off to Google Slides where they could then record their information on these Google Slides. Then we come back and we would have the opportunity to discuss. So each of those colored doors are what we're referring to in this diagram as a specialty group. 1s were beverages, 2s were appetizers, 3s were main course, 4s were desserts. So you know how it is when you have students in the physical environment. They tend to go sit at one of their tables with their small groups, and that's where they stay for the whole semester. If that were the case in a physical environment, I would have had my small groups count off 1 to 4, so 1, 2, 3, and 4. Each one of them would have gone to the table for 1s, the table for 2s, the tables for 3s, the table for 4s. They get really good at their specialty area, and then they come back together with their small group where it's a mixed group. On this page, you can see that this is the kind of activity that you could use in any environment. We have a video from Cult of Pedagogy that covers how you would handle that in a face-to-face environment. And we also have one from K. Patricia Cross, which you may remember from Basecamp, where she talks about doing this asynchronously. And then, of course, we use breakout rooms to do a synchronous activity. So you can really use this in any teaching modality. A little bit more detail for you on the Jigsaw if you want to kind of do a deep dive, and then think about how the Jigsaw strategy could work for you in your classes. So don't say, oh yeah, that's kind of cool, maybe I'll use it someday. Sit down right now. The challenge we had in our session on Tuesday was we're going to give you 60 seconds. Set a 60-second timer right now and write a list of topics or areas in your class that a Jigsaw might work for. The second type of strategy, active learning strategy, that we looked at on Tuesday was the station rotation. Station rotation is interesting because up until now, we have talked to you about either having all the small groups go to their spaces and answer identical questions and come back, or smaller pieces of a bigger puzzle where they've each answered something different, but then they come back and create what effectively is the same whole piece of information. With station rotations, you have stations that allow the students to pick and choose. That's kind of a la carte in terms of they get what they need. Again, a little detail for you in here if I hit to the next page. Jen gave a lot of information on this. Again, I apologize for not hitting the record button because she waxed eloquent. But you can read through the different types of stations. As I recall from what she said, that it originally came from K-12 and was an opportunity for the teacher to focus on smaller groups of students who needed more help and allow the groups of students who maybe didn't need the assistance to go do their own thing. And I remember my 6th grade teacher doing that. You get done early with your math, you can go play at the math station, which was really just puzzles, which, is math. So you can go through this and get a little bit more detail on the station rotation idea. But Jen's given a couple of simple examples for you here. If you're in a math class, here might be your 4 stations. And again, students don't have to go to every station, but they do have the flexibility to say, well, I thought I had it and I went to the independent station, but maybe I need to talk with other students, so I'm going to jump over to the collaborative station, that kind of thing. An English class might look like this. And then we sent the participants into their small group area to discuss what might you do with this? How might station rotation work for you? Okay, this is about the point where I realized on Tuesday that we actually weren't recording. And then from this point, I actually did record the rest of the discussion. So I will leave you at this point and you can watch the rest of the recording from Tuesday. see you in a couple of weeks, and maybe make sure that you actually come, because you never know if I'm going to forget to hit the record button.
Anyone there?
We can't hear you yet, but I'm just telling. I know you're doing it on purpose. You're doing it on purpose just to make us feel better, and I so appreciate that. We feel so much togetherness. We're not out there all by ourselves when we have these glitches.
That's
Thank you.
Actually, the theme of what I was talking about while I was muted was that I've never had quite so many tech issues all in one place. I made a sign for Jen that said, "I never resumed recording." So
I don't see anyone's video besides myself. Do you guys see me?
No, we're just seeing your name. And this happened to me earlier, Andrea, and I think maybe it was saying that my bandwidth, sometimes Webex decides your bandwidth is weak, and so it shuts off the video.
All three of you. Yeah, I've lost all three of you, but I see myself.
I had that earlier, and I ended up getting out of the meeting and getting back in because I couldn't see anybody. But I'm going to go back to sharing our slide. We actually don't really need to call on anybody, but whose birthday was closest to today?
Oh, we didn't even figure it out.
Guys, you're killing me.
I'm July 6th. Anyway, so that's
I'm in November.
Oh, you guys have had to do some math to see.
Yeah, so I'm
further away.
6 away, but who's before me? I guess November's only 4 months away, right?
Yeah, November's closer. It was probably Roja, and that's why she ditched, so she wouldn't have to. No, I know she had a meeting. Typically, we would then have you share out. We would pick on that one person. If we had a lot more groups, we would probably do that. But it's nice to have this slide in here that's very clearly, okay, you're back from breakouts, we're sharing from breakouts, and then some kind of instruction at the bottom that reminds the students what and who was going to share out.
And the cool thing is, the thing I love about breakouts is it gives every student that opportunity for voice. I mean, it's a small enough group session that every student contributes. But the beautiful thing about whole group is you typically get that one nugget or gem that came out of each small group session. So it really does get students actively engaged. And then you as the instructor, sometimes I feel a little jealous because I can't be in each of the groups and you don't get to hear all of those nuggets. So that share out time is for you to really hear, and the other groups to hear what came out of each of those golden group conversations. Go ahead.
I was just going to ask about, when you send them off to breakout groups, you have little to no control except if you pop in.
Right.
Then you pop out and they know you've popped out. So do we have a pretty good ratio of people who, are we just assuming that we have a good participation rate?
We did a session last week on breakout sessions, and we actually recommended assign roles. If someone is recording on whatever you're having them record, whether they're turning it in or whether it is the Google slide, somebody's actually recording, so they have a job. Somebody is going to share out, so they've got to pay attention because when they come back, they're going to be sharing out. Somebody is like the task keeper or the time manager. Having roles really helps if students each have roles, and then someone can be the leader who just makes sure that everybody has a role and is doing their job. There's lots of different roles they can have within groups, but I think sometimes having one elevates that level of accountability. Or if you just say, I'm going to call on a person from each group.
That's what I was going to say.
Share.
On the flip side of that, my birthday thing is usually at the end. So I'll say, all right, you guys, you go do your thing, and I will randomly pick one of you. So everybody has to know how to explain it. So you make sure, because the group's grade depends on that person who reports out. And when they get back, I say, okay, the person reporting out is the one whose birthday is closest to today, or the person who's wearing the most white, or whatever it happens. Or, I just have a random number generator. But that's another way to do it, is when it's random, it's like having an audit. And so they don't know who's going to be responsible, so they all need to be responsible.
These are the other two key pieces. Sharing the prompt. So whether it be on the Google slides like we did the first time and the second time, so you could see what you're supposed to be discussing, because you can give those directions verbally, but by the time they get to the group, they might be saying, what were we supposed to discuss again? So making sure that they have access to the prompt. And then the second one is clarifying the expectations for the activity. What are they supposed to do? Are they discussing only? Are they recording their responses? If so, where? Are they completing a task or submitting an assignment? Being really clear about the expectations. What are they supposed to be doing and how do they share that when they get back, or how do they record that, are really important for breakout sessions and really to hold everyone accountable. And then the last thing is having that slide when you come back that says sharing from breakouts. This is also good if you're teaching the lesson, because sometimes they come back from breakouts and we just move on to the next thing. That slide alerts you as the instructor that, hey, I want to pause and hear from each of the groups. So it's kind of just a teaching time management tip too, that you come back in and want to share.
Well, and if you're like me, you get to a certain point and more than 30 seconds goes by and you can't remember what it was, that I sometimes forget exactly what the plan was. So having these little benchmarks to remind me and keep me on track is helpful. And that's pretty much what we had for today. I got the usual spiel for you here. If you have questions or suggestions or ideas, you can go to the LOL suggestion box. If you want to present something, you can go to the LOL suggestion box, and it's bit.ly/capital LOL, all lowercase suggestion box. Today's slides, bit.ly/capital LOL -active learning 2. Last session from 2 weeks ago, if you had missed it, was bit.ly/capital LOL -active learning. So today's slides are active learning 2. Coming up in a couple of weeks, we will be doing a session on interactive notebooks. It's taking advantage of a lot of the features that Slide presents to build something really cool with lots of interconnected information. And it can be something you provide, or it can be a project that students build. And then all of our old sessions, should you wish them, interactive notebooks coming up next. And at the end, we provided some of these things for you, like the sharing from breakouts title, or if you really want my little stick people with chef's hats, yes, feel free to use them. And these were from last week. I had recommended last time that it could be useful to have these little icons, because if you start doing different types of activities throughout the semester, the students will automatically recognize, oh, we're doing a jigsaw today. We did those before. I remember how this goes. Or I'm doing a station rotation this time. We did those before. I know how this goes. Or naughty problem, or whichever one of these you want to use. And tours for you if you wish to have them. Although I did post the Tech Tuesday today that shows you how to make your own. And Juliet had created, just in time for our talking about breakout sessions, how to align your breakout sessions with the small groups that you have in Canvas. So if you have small groups in Canvas already, this takes you through how to get those same groups and use them as your small groups in the breakout sessions within Webex. Because I probably would have used brute force and just typed them in, or said, here's my list, and put them in. So I'm going to stop sharing. I know we're running a little over, but we are happy to answer questions if you have them.
I'm going to go order Mexican now.
Today's session was good for something.
Focus on the tamale bites right now. Yeah.
That's right. Little tostada bites. I love the shrimp tostada bites from Z Tejas. They're my favorite.
Yes. No, this was helpful. Thank you.
Thank you guys so much for joining. Bye.
Yeah, I'm glad I did. I couldn't make it last week, so I was a little behind the 8 ball, and I got busy and didn't look at all the slides. So, but these are always fun. I enjoy so much what you guys do, and all the tricks are just so cool. I just have so many, I can't use them all. So it's like trying to remember where does that? Like right now I'm looking for the timer to put in my little window, like you use in your pre-stuff. I remember that day, and you said, oh, it was a Google Slides presentation a couple of presentations ago, is how to use your Google Slides, organize them. And you mentioned the timer, and I'm like, where was that timer? They mentioned where I could get one like that, and how to put it. And but I'm gonna keep looking.
Yeah, I'll email it to you.
And I think it's in those slides. That organize your slides thing, I think, had slides with timers on them that you can copy and paste.
Oh, that's right. It did. Yes.
You can right-click, copy, and paste.
And then they just run on there. You just set them, and they run.
You set them. Do you know what I literally do? I set an alarm on my phone for 2:25, because that's 5 minutes before we start, and the alarm on my phone triggers me to start the countdown timer.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I use the alarm on my phone to signal 5 minutes before I'm going to go into a study session, or 5 minutes. I'm starting to live with that life reminder machine. My thing.
Right. We
It's
lose
got like
track of time.
I think I got 7 timers set to go off for tomorrow already. And it's like, anyway, thank you.
We'll see you. Bye-bye.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.